Stranded on a distant planet, his chariot broken, but still whole. With an army by his side of 1,000 men, he stood against the monsters from the dark. And those who witnessed his great battles, who saw his glorious rise, his kindness, his cruelty, and his unwavering dedication to victory, they named him Alima.
So, first things first. What's a Pikmin? The series' first debut was on October 26th in 2001. Its major selling point was the unique gameplay, as it was in a nutshell Nintendo's take on the real-time strategy genre, mixing the gameplay of building and leading armies with the familiar Nintendo gameplay of single-player collectathon platformers, like Mario, and, well, more Mario. Both the original game and its sequel were released. However, the monetary return from the Pikmin franchise was disappointing for Nintendo, who had hoped the series would rival that of Mario. Yeah, that was never gonna work, don't get me wrong. Pikmin's fun, but like if you're expecting that thing to make more money than Mario, hell, if you expect anything to make more money than Mario, you're out of your goddamn mind. Nowadays, Pikmin is considered a C-tier Nintendo franchise, with games like Kirby, Zelda, and Mario taking the spotlight for most Nintendo fanboys' great appetites. Yet, despite that, I would like to make the argument that the Pikmin franchise has some of the most fun gameplay I have ever experienced. The reason for this being its simple yet innovative take on its unique gameplay style, but also in its simple yet unique art style. Now, let's begin our dissection of this franchise, first things first, with the gameplay. Now, although each Pikmin game plays very differently from one another, the main gameplay loop of the series stays pretty much exactly the same. Every Pikmin game is separated into days. Before a day even begins, the player selects one from many different levels, or as they're called, areas. Then, when you land on the planet's surface, along with your Pikmin, only then does the day begin. The player only has around 10 minutes to stay in an area per day before they need to leave back into orbit. The player must then use the Pikmin within this time limit to explore each area, solve puzzles, and collect the game's respective collectibles, which are either ship parts, treasure, or fruit. With the main challenges for the player typically being environmental, or let's say a little cruel in nature is a nice way to put it. Just a little cruel, just a soft pinch cruel. When the day ends, the player is taken away and all Pikmin not under your command are left behind. And all tasks Pikmin were currently doing stop. Instantly. Now, as I mentioned before, the gameplay typically changes a little between games, with caves in Pikmin 2 temporarily pausing days altogether. But generally, this format of land, explore, collect, kill, and leave is the core gameplay loop of the franchise. Controlling Pikmin is a significantly different experience than controlling armies in traditional RTS games, as instead of controlling Pikmin directly, the player controls a player character who controls the Pikmin, or multiple player characters depending on the game. This limits the player significantly, as Pikmin are mostly helpless on their own. However, as a consequence, it gives more control to the player, as the player is now on the front lines controlling the Pikmin directly instead of telling them what to do from an almost godlike perspective. This makes the Pikmin an extension of the player more than anything else, and Pikmin's simple take on RTS gameplay allows for this control to be easily understood and exploited with fun and dynamic strategy, as well as action-packed gameplay. As your main way to control Pikmin is to throw them at an object, and allowing them to do whatever they normally do to that object. If it's an enemy, they will latch onto it and attack it. and if it's a collectible, they will always try to bring it back to the ship. Pikmin also come in various different and unique types, with each type serving a different purpose unique to them in various scenarios. Red Pikmin are great fighters and immune to fire. Yellows can be thrown higher and are immune to electricity. And blue Pikmin can swim in water and even save other Pikmin who normally drown in water. Then you have other special types like purple Pikmin, who are strong boys. Ice Pikmin freeze water, pinks can fly, etc, etc. All these types add a unique level of strategy to the gameplay. And there is no better feeling than going on recon, scouting an area out and planning your day. Then, from that recon, hand selecting 100 of the most capable Pikmin for the job, and then executing that plan perfectly. That feeling of seeing a bandwagon of corpses and treasures after a hard day's work traveling back to the ship as the sun sets. Mwah! There is nothing quite like it. This really sells the feeling of being a Napoleon-like character. Nay, a general, commanding great armies to victory. As previously stated, managing one's time is vital, and Pikmin would truly not be the same without it. That stress of trying to complete as much stuff as possible within a single day needs to be there in order to get that sweet, sweet taste of victory when you actually clean out an entire area within a single day. Plus, the challenge of managing one's time forces players to get creative when they least expect it. Typically, a new element is added onto one's plate, destroying one's plan entirely, forcing the player to come up with a new strategy entirely on the fly, which within itself is very engaging, let me tell you. Now, I did kind of mention it before, but another thing that I love about the Pikmin games is that they're basically collectathon games. You got so many things to collect in these games, from the unique creative ship parts in Pikmin 1, which by the way results in Olimar's ship becoming slowly repaired over the course of the game, so that's very neat detail. That's a very neat detail, I like it very much. Or the various treasures of Pikmin 2, everyday objects from our world bringing new meaning from Olimar's alien perspective. But it's not just major stuff you collect. Collecting stuff in Pikmin is a core part of the gameplay, bringing expired enemies back to base to make more Pikmin, the spice berries you use to create spicy spray, and in newer games, even NPC side characters are now collectibles, who give you side quests like... Wait, hang on, give me a sec. Oh, collecting even more items. Wow, how creative! With so many unique things to collect, I would say it's even more fun to collect stuff in Pikmin than in traditional collectathons, like platformers for example, where the player is most often collecting just the same looking objects such as stars and coins again and again and again. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not fun, I'm just saying Pikmin does it better. You can quote me on that, by the way. However, I will be honest, gameplay is an acquired taste, I must admit. As a kid, I would play Pikmin 3 a ton. However, I would be lying if I said I didn't need to first get used to... However, I would be lying if I said I didn't need to get used to it at first. The game was just scary to me as a child. However, in time, it's that creepy feeling that Pikmin gave me that I would come to love. The game just felt so different from the other stuff I played. It was gritty and exciting, providing me with the real consequences for failure. Every time I failed to defeat a boss, I would need to go back and replenish my Pikmin. But even then, it may never be enough, and I would have to start the whole game over, again and again, until finally succeeding and beat the game for the first time. I tell you, that feeling of finally seeing those credits after all that struggle is something I will never forget. What I also enjoyed about the game as a kid was definitely the art style. Pikmin's art style was something I had never seen before. I would say Pikmin's key style is cartoony creatures and characters put into a dark and merciless setting, with a shockingly realistic art style for the environments to boot. The story of most Pikmin games feels more genuine and grounded when compared to other Nintendo games. In Pikmin 1, Olimar wants to rebuild his ship within 30 days, or he will suffocate and die. Yes, die. Yes, die on this faraway alien planet, never seeing his family ever again. Jeez, this game was dark. Oh dear. In Pikmin 2, Olimar needs to repay his debt to his company. And in Pikmin 3, the Kopaya explorers are looking to collect as much food as possible to save their whole planet from mass starvation. These simply aren't stories and themes that are covered in kids' media like this. Not nowadays at least. And especially not from the likes of Nintendo, as more and more creatives wish to sanitize stuff as much as possible. Pikmin, in contrast, is just naturally brutal. And I mean it like this. The game shows you the beauty of the world. However, the natural world is also very unforgiving and cruel at times. But there is beauty in that too. Nothing's nice all the time. To accept the beauty in the world, you must also accept the beauty within the ugly, even the cruel. And I feel like that is also an important lesson to teach kids, to accept the bad with the good in life. Pikmin also has some of the most unique kind of humor that I have ever seen. Although unconventional, some of the jokes are really funny. Like the president of Hocketate Freight dodging debt collectors while sleeping under a bridge. Or Louis stealing all your food and then blowing up a concrete wall for absolutely no reason. Or Olimar finding his Geiger counter. Yes, that kind of Geiger counter, which is going ballistic, by the way. But don't worry, he's not worried about that at all, because he has no idea what it even does. Tee-hee, bet you didn't expect radiation jokes in your family-friendly E for everyone now, did you? Tee-hee. God, I love this game. And it's this wacky story that also helps drive the gameplay forward, as you want Olimar to escape the planet and get back to his family. You want Olimar and Louis to repay their debt, and you want the Kopites to save the home planet. Character designs are also fantastic. The player characters are super cute, and don't get me started on the Pikmin. Oh, they're simply adorable. Oh, and the creatures. The creatures are awesome. The creatures of PNF4, that's the planet's name by the way, are just as f***ing horrifying as they are cool. Everything is simple in style, but all around iconic. Everything's memorable, each creature looks unique, and even the Pikmin are so radically different from one another that it will be impossible to forget any of them. And one of my favorite aspects about the style is these colorful, cartoony characters are in a realistic environment. It makes them stand out more, I think. And having Pikmin and enemies stand out from the background can be very helpful when you're playing Pikmin, as since a lot of stuff is happening all at once, having the characters blend into the environment would make things a lot harder. But since the characters naturally stand out from the background, this isn't a problem. The enemy designs help the gameplay as well, as you can understand instantly what kind of threat an enemy is just by looking at it. You look at this thing here, you realize you need red Pikmin. And you look at this thing over here and think, yeah, rocks will do fine for this one. Level design in Pikmin games has always been radically different when compared to other RTS games. It's unique, as Pikmin environments are built both around the player character and the Pikmin. Each area feels unique both in style and in gameplay. For example, while the Forest of Hope feels more relaxing and peaceful, with sleeping bulborbs and a generally relaxed atmosphere. This area is mostly designed for red Pikmin and maybe a couple yellow Pikmin, you know, but it's generally relaxing. The forest navel, on the other hand, feels more creepy and unforgiving, which also reflects the gameplay, as the forest navel is typically cruel and unforgiving, with fire geysers everywhere, a big spore mushroom that can turn your Pikmin into zombie mushroom. It's very weird. Oh, and beady long legs. Yeah, spoilers, he's not friendly. And the forest navel is contrasted yet again by the Valley of Repose, which feels like a merciless frozen wasteland, as it should be. Each game brings something unique to the franchise. Pikmin 1 builds up the basic gameplay of the series. Only 3 Pikmin types, everything super simple, and there are only 2 environmental hazards, that being water and fire. Pikmin 2 expands the basic gameplay through advanced level design and puzzles, yet brings a new dungeon-crawling twist via caves. If Pikmin 1 was setting up the gameplay for the series, then Pikmin 2 was starting to experiment and master it. More advanced puzzles, more advanced environments, a shit load more enemies and treasures. And say it with me, folks, proper cutscenes! Pikmin 3 keeps some aspects from Pikmin 1 and 2, while making the gameplay faster, taking the series in a different direction. Which makes sense, as Miyamoto himself stated that he designed Pikmin 3 around speedrunners specifically. I mean, it's a choice, right? And Pikmin 4 is fanfiction made for children. No, I will not be elaborating on that point, otherwise we will be here all day and this video has already been going on for long enough. So in conclusion, Pikmin is one of the most unique game series that I have ever played. Its story, gameplay, and art style are some of the most unique that I have ever seen come from any video game. The gameplay is fantastic, blending RTS and collectathon gameplay elements in a truly innovative way. Controlling an army of Pikmin and racing against time is addicting and so much fun. Oh my goodness, it never gets old. The art style is beautiful and the characters and enemies are truly one of a kind and iconic. The contrast of lovable cartoon characters in a cold and brutal world is simply a stroke of genius that can only be cooked up from the truly uniquely creative minds at Nintendo. I would recommend anyone to give this series a go, especially if you love RTS or collectathon games. And I wish more video game developers would take inspiration from the Pikmin series for their own projects. Which reminds me, shout out to The Wild at Heart and Tinykin for doing exactly that. And I also recommend Pikmin fans to give these games a go as well. They're no Pikmin, sure, but hey, they're fun in their own unique way, right? This series is so special to me. I got Pikmin 3 as a child. I saw the box cover art and was immediately intrigued with a sense of wonder, and that wonder has persisted even to this day. I love this franchise. I loved it back then and I love it even more now, especially since I have gone back to playing Pikmin 1 and 2, thanks to the Switch re-releases. I hope to make new Pikmin content in the future, and even... Wait, hang on, come over here, come... I want to make a Pikmin game of my own someday. Maybe even learn Unreal Engine, stuff like that. Listen. It may be a pipe dream, but it's my pipe dream. God damn...